Hello, welcome back to another video. I really appreciate you watching. I also really appreciate you subscribing to my channel and liking my videos. Much more is still to come. So far on this channel I've talked about the sacred frequencies. I've given you examples of the sacred frequencies. I've also given you many examples of how these numbers show up in history all over the world. It's in Asia, it's in Africa, it's in South America, North America, Europe, you name it. And the examples I've given you in these videos are just a very few really. This channel was never meant to be a complete source of all these things. I'm just here to give you a little introduction to this topic and tease you a little bit and stir your curiosity hopefully, so you can start looking into these things yourself and learning everything there is to learn. Still, just a few examples I've given you here should be enough to convince you that there is no way that all this is coincidence, and these numbers, they are linked to the creation of the world itself, or the creation of reality. As above, so below, everything from the tiniest cell to the solar system or the universe itself is created from the same geometrical principles, the same mathematical equations. In this video I'm just going to give you a few more examples, and then I'm going to move on to not an entirely different topic. I'm staying on this topic of sound healing and sacred frequencies, magic frequencies, whatever you choose to call them, magic numbers. But there are so many more things to talk about, and I don't see the point in just keep listing examples from myth and architecture and so on. I'm going to talk about other things that are also very relevant and also very interesting. But a few more examples. Back to India. The ancient text of Rivera consists of 10,800 stanzas, 108, and 432,000 syllables, 432. Imagine the skill it would take to write a work, a poetry really, and have exactly 10,800 stanzas and 432,000 syllables. That's just absolutely mind-blowing. There's also the Indian fire temple that's built out of 10,800 bricks. Last time I talked about Hindu time cycles. There are also Mayan time cycles that we know about. In the Mayan long count calendar, it is said that one katun is 7,200 days, one tune is 360 days, two tunes is obviously 720 days, 5 buck tunes is 720,000 days, 5 katuns is 36,000 days, 6 katuns is 43,200 days, 6 tunes is 2,160 days, and 15 katuns is 2,160,000 days. 432, 216, 72, 720, 36, 360, and so on. All numbers that we are familiar with at this point. There's an ancient Chinese text whose name I can't possibly pronounce that refers to the end of the world, or so it says. I haven't read it, to be perfectly honest. I've only heard of it. And it is written down in 4,320 volumes. So 432 once again. In China. In Babylonian history, there is talk about 10 kings that will rule for a combined period of 432,000 years before a great flood will destroy the world. There's also a mention of 2,160,000 years between the creation and destruction of the world. In the Kabbalah, there is talk about 72 angels. In the Christian Bible, there is talk about 144,000 people that will be saved on Judgment Day or something like that. 144, 72. One little fun fact, that might be coincidence, might be not. I don't know, I'm not saying anything. But 432 times 432 is 186,400. And it is often said that the speed of light is 186,282 miles per second. That's pretty close. And it is also said that the speed of light isn't constant. It's changing, so it's definitely in the range and it can't just be dismissed. The length of the equator in nautical miles is 21,600, 216. It goes on and on and on. I'm going to share one last example with you before I move on, and this is my favorite example of all. Being Norwegian. In the Old Norse text called the Edda, Edda means great grandmother. And these texts are often referred to as Viking poetry, but they are probably far, far older than the Viking Age. It is said in the poem Grimnismål, which means the speech of Grimnir, and Grimnir being one of the many names of Odin, or Odin as you would say in English probably. It is said that Valhall, or Valhalla, has 540 doors, and at the end of time, 800 warriors will pass through each door at one time. 540, well, 540 in itself is a number we know well, 54, 540 and so on, half of 1080, 108, and 540 times 800 is 432,000. 432,000 is of course the number that the famous professor of mythology Joseph Campbell called the most important mythological number in history, because it shows up in so many ways all over the place from thousands of years back, throughout all of history, throughout all of known history, basically. If you're not yet convinced that there is some connection here, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to try to convince you. People can believe whatever they want, of course. It's none of my business. I strongly believe in this. I strongly believe that harmony is something that's very important to the world. And all these numbers point to the harmony of life itself and the harmony needed to sustain life. And I think that in the modern world we are lacking this harmony. It's disappearing ever faster. As I've talked about, it's already gone from most of music. And my main mission probably here is to restore that in music. I want people to retune. I want people to understand tuning so we can take music back to what it originally was, and we can make music truly harmonious once again, because it has very, very powerful healing effects on us, among many other things. That's it for now, but I'll be back next week, and I think next week I'll talk about the Schumann resonance, which is often linked to 432 tuning, and I'm going to explain exactly how and why and what the Schumann frequency is. If you enjoy the work I do and you appreciate all the time I spend doing this work and you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon page. I will link my website in the description of this video, and if you go to my website you will find links to absolutely everything I do, including my Patreon page. You will also find a link to my music on Spotify where you can listen, you can download in iTunes, you can follow me on Instagram so we can keep in touch. I'm on Facebook, I'm on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Google Music, Amazon Music. There's also my book that's out on Amazon, both as Kindle and paperback, and it's available in all countries. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with another video in about a week.